If you care about honest, balanced coverage of hip-hop and internet culture without the noise, you're in the right place. This week has been a lot. A content creator escalated a simmering feud with a diss track aimed squarely at one of the biggest names in rap. A highly anticipated single arrived to a split reaction, and a very public family situation reignited a hard conversation about parenting, privacy, and what we choose to share online. We're going to unpack the Armon Wiggins versus Cardi B back and forth, the response to Megan Thee Stallion's Lover Girl, and the social media storm surrounding Chriseanrock. If you want grounded hip-hop news and pop culture analysis delivered clearly, subscribe, turn on notifications, and drop a like so more people can find this breakdown. Let's start with the loudest headline. After days of trading jabs on social media, Armon Wiggins released a diss track aimed at Cardi B titled Silly. The record doesn't pull punches. He targets her appearance, her circle, and her credibility with the kind of gloves-off approach designed to trend quickly. Whether you think he went in or across the line depends on your tolerance for rap beef, where critique and cruelty often live uncomfortably close. Supporters argue he simply took commentary off YouTube and onto a beat, which is part of hip-hop's long history of confrontation. Critics see a pattern of fixation, pointing out that when the subject is pregnant, the line between entertainment and harassment gets very thin very quickly. The reaction has been divided, as you would expect when a diss intersects with both celebrity and pregnancy. There's a section of the audience that views this as fair game. Cardi is a megastar who has never shied away from conflict, and to them, public figures do not get to choose when they are criticized or by whom. Another portion of the audience is exhausted by this cycle. Social media turned UPS to promote tracks are one thing. Prolonged targeting that reduces a woman to her body or leans into insulting tropes, especially during a pregnancy, is another. This culture has rules, even if they are unwritten. Focus on the music, the moves, the claims, the receipts. Every step into appearance or family is a step away from the craft and a step toward the kind of content that lowers the entire conversation. Cardi, for her part, has not made a career out of letting slights slide. Pregnancy or not, she claps back, and that's part of why this escalates so easily. The bigger question is what anyone gains here. If the goal was to generate clicks, mission accomplished. If the goal was to push the culture forward, a record that leans on recycled insults rarely does that. Diss tracks can be incredible when they expose something true and uncomfortable and do it with skill. When they're mostly about anatomy and shock value, the replay fades and the collateral stress remains. The more we normalize this exact format, the less we get of what makes hip-hop exciting. Imagination, storytelling, and a sharp point of view that doesn't need a personal life to hold weight. Now to Megan Thee Stallion, who has the rare ability to own an entire week whenever she feels like it. Lover Girl arrived with serious momentum. The early snippet was catchy and hinted at a new tone. Softer, honest, and centered around being loved well. Fans began building their own storyboards. They pictured intimate visuals, a narrative that feels like date night rather than club night, a camera that lingers rather than a cut that slices. Then the full single and music video dropped, and the reaction fractured across a few clear lines. There are listeners who loved the hook, wanted the verses to match its emotional contour, and instead felt like the writing defaulted to safer, more familiar patterns. Some people hear a beat that slaps and lyrics that tread water. Others are plugged in on the opposite frequency and love the writing, while wishing the instrumental took more risk. The strongest critique focus on the visuals. If you ever tell the public you are in your lover era, the logic goes, the video needs to feel like the warmth you are describing. One of the most shared comments called for a simple cinematic approach. Shots of Megan getting ready in a sunlit apartment. A coat pulled over her shoulders, a framing choice that shows her partner only from behind so the audience can project themselves into the story. People wanted a video that lets the song breathe and gives viewers a chance to feel her happiness rather than simply be told about it. That critique is not a takedown of Megan's identity or brand. It comes from fans who are invested in her evolution. They know she is capable of scalpel-sharp writing and diamond-hard delivery. They have watched her shoulder real pain in public and refused the narrative others tried to write for her. When an artist of that range tells you she is ready to be soft, people want to see what that softness looks like through her eyes. Of course, There's also a loyal core that loves everything about the record and the video and does not need a visual pivot to validate the message. Viral sound plus clean choreography plus signature Megan charisma is a formula for a reason, and it works in the 15-second world. It is too early to declare anything definitive. Watch what happens over the next 2 weeks. If you see an alternate cut lean into more intimate pacing, you will know the team heard what was said. If Megan performs Lover Girl live with a stripped arrangement that highlights the writing, you will know she wants the words to carry. And if she keeps everything as is because she prefers it that way, then the message is clear. Ultimately, the audience does not get to choose an artist's growth. We can ask for it respectfully. We can reward it when we see it. The last story demands a different register because it involves a child and the internet's worst impulses. Chriseanrock shared a string of posts telling trolls to stop speaking on her son and warning that people who target him meet bad ends. She pointed to the legal troubles of his father and the death of an ex as evidence that she is protected and that anyone who touches her family for clout will regret it. Those posts triggered another round of debate that has been simmering for months. How much of motherhood should be content? And what responsibility do we have toward a child's privacy when the parent is a public figure? Here is the clearest truth in a fog of speculation. The reason strangers feel empowered to comment is not that they are righteous. It is that the most chaotic moments are online by choice. If all we saw was clinic visits and therapy, bedtime routines and consistency, a safe space that looks like a child's room with clear boundaries around who appears and how, then the internet would have no place to land an accusation. You cannot play both roles forever, victim of public scrutiny and author of your own reality show. One of those scripts has to be retired if you want the other to stop being written. A different live stream by a mother figure close to the situation cut through the noise with something rare. Sincerity without spectacle. She sat in her car after court, said she was praying, and spoke directly to the ache of single motherhood. She did not sling gossip. She did not try to win the internet. She said 3 things people needed to hear. Your pain does not give you permission to fail your child. If you did not receive what you needed as a daughter, you can still give it as a mother. And when you feel like you are underwater, it is time to step away from the feeds and find help, not to go live again with a ring light and 1,000 comments daring you to implode. There are lines that we will not cross in this space. We are not going to repeat allegations about a child without court documents. We are not going to embed clips that should never have been recorded, let alone shared. We are not going to turn family trauma into content, because that is the exact mistake the adults in the situation keep making. What we can do is name the fix, log off, establish a routine, build a support team that does not rely on strangers, put the camera away around minors. If you want to make content later about redemption and growth, there will be an audience for it. What there cannot be is a toddler starring in someone else's crisis arc. All of this raises a larger point about how we behave as fans and observers. You do not need to pile into a comment section to say the same cruel line someone else already posted. You can separate critique from humiliation and still hold an opinion. If you are upset about the tone of a music video, you can say that without insulting a woman's body. If you are tired of a back and forth in the timeline, you can stop clicking. There is more power in starving a cycle than there is in shouting at it. And if you are concerned about a child, report to the proper authorities, not to your followers. Here is how I think this plays out. The Armon Wiggins versus Cardi B story will burn hot for another few days. Then move on, because most internet fights do. If you do not want that kind of content, do not amplify it. The market listens to traffic. Megan Thee Stallion will continue to run her own playbook. She will try new sounds and new frames when she is ready. If Lover Girl marks a pivot, you will see it ripple across performances and visuals. If it does not, it is a standalone in a catalog that encompasses much more than one track. As for Chriseanrock, the only timeline that matters is the one where a small child has stability. That is not about rebranding. That is about choices, every day, offline. Your turn. Did the silly diss land for you? Or did it cross a line you do not want to see normalized in rap? Did Lover Girl meet your expectations? Or would you prefer a different visual tone if this Lover era continues? And where do you draw the line between accountability and harassment when talking about someone's parenting on social media? Share your thoughts in the comments. Keep it respectful. Subscribe and turn on notifications for more balanced hip-hop news, music video analysis, and culture coverage that values context over chaos. If you found this useful, hit the like button so it reaches more people who want news, not noise.